the Transfiguration was to prepare the apostles for the passion of our Lord. The three disciples, Peter, James, and John, were to be the leaders of the other apostles. Although Jesus told them all, he warned them many times. I don't remember the number of times he told them that his passion was coming, that he was going to be killed, crucified, tortured, and then die and rise again. They didn't fully understand that. All the way up to the Passion, our Lord is, on Passion Sunday, our Lord is treated like a king. He's riding on a donkey into Jerusalem. Everyone's proclaiming him like a king. And so would the apostles think he's going to be killed and crucified? No, they were really shocked. Just a week later, our Lord is crucified. Jesus knew it all, and he was preparing them, and he prepares them with this transfiguration, which we really should understand is like glory which we've never seen. Our Lord is, brilliant, more brilliant than the sun. His glory is shining from him, which is even just a tiny taste of the glory of Jesus in heaven. And they see this, and they hear the voice of the Father. And this is to take them through the passion, to give them strength, to sustain them, sustain their faith in Jesus, sustain their faith in his divinity. This glory that is shown on the mountain is a sign of his divinity, that he is God in the flesh. They were to try to believe that despite the weakness of their faith, and that nobody had ever seen anybody resurrected from the dead before. They were to hope for that. So bring it here 2,000 years later to our life. We too are going to have passions to undergo, and we need to be prepared. We need to prepare, even if we don't have great calamities happen. We need to prepare. Do we need a calamity to happen to make us live our faith fully, strongly, to give our whole life to God? Do we need a calamity? When 9/11 happened, it was a calamity, and a lot of people, even pagan-minded people, were thinking of the next life, thinking of God, thinking of, going to church. How long did that last? Right after 9/11, probably last a few weeks, and then people started drifting away from church again, their practice. Do we need that? Do you and I need a boost by some calamity to happen to us before we give our whole heart and soul to God, before we structure our day? Do you have a prayer schedule for yourself? Do you have a prayer schedule for yourself, that I pray on these different hours of the day, that I wake up in the morning first thing and say some prayers, that I say prayers that I examine my conscience every day, every night, even throughout the day? If you do something wrong, do you immediately examine your conscience? I shouldn't have done that. How do I correct it? Do we say the rosary every day as perhaps a minimum? How are you going to get strong in your faith, strong in your relationship with God, if you don't pray a significant amount? Adoration time, the rosary is 20 minutes of prayer. That's a significant amount of prayer. Do you immerse yourself in prayer in a good place where you can focus and concentrate and think and pray for so many things in the world, and for yourself, for your own betterment and holiness? If we don't pray, we get weak. If we don't pray, we get weaker and weaker and weaker. How are we going to sustain ourselves? We can look at the political situation. Do you watch the news? Do you find some good, trustworthy source of news? There are good, trustworthy newscasters that you can find who will tell you what's happening in the world. There's a lot of fake news around. you know? And there are things that are happening in the world, in our government, that are kind of scary, you know, in this country. You remember when Russia hacked, so Russian hackers hacked the oil pipelines down in the southern area of the country, and people were long lines to the gas station. That could easily happen again, easily. And Russia is not our friend. They can easily hack anywhere in our country. And not just the Russians, the Chinese, anybody can do that. Inflation is you're paying for a lot more for everything, for all your food. How many trillions of dollars has our government just handed out like candy? We are way, way, way into debt. Financial calamity can really affect our lives, and it's going to. In our generation, it's going to happen. Financial calamity that can affect all of us, just like inflation is affecting all of us now. Think of the calamities that can happen. Forget about private revelations. Forget about the 3 days of darkness. Forget about whatever other private revelation you might have heard. We don't need that. We can look at the news. It'll tell you right now we're in the midst of some serious enemies within our own country, within our own government. People who are trying to pull down the whole foundation of our nation. They don't like it. And so, if our nation is impoverished, if people are poor, they're easier to control. And a lot of those people with that mentality won't want that to happen to our country. So we have enemies within and without, and who cares as long as our soul is right with God, as long as we are strong. But it's good to have a little bit of fear that these material things can be affected. So this will probably happen. It'll probably happen within our lives, within my life, within your lifetime. And things are only going to get worse. Things are only going to get worse. And in many ways, that's a good thing for us. It'll keep our mind on eternal things, on our true homeland, on God, relying on God instead of our financial well-being, which we have all lived with during my whole lifetime. We've always had financial well-being, security, but that's slipping away. We should know, we should see this, we should know what's going to happen, because we're to lead, just like the three apostles. We Catholics are to lead all those around us and be ready. Jesus prepared the apostles and the Christians for the destruction of Jerusalem in year 70 AD. He prepared them. He told them these things are going to happen. And so all the Christians, just before the Romans destroyed the temple, told them to escape, to go into the mountains. So they all went across the River Jordan into a town called Pella, and they were safe. The Christians only, who went there and listened to the words of Jesus to protect their physical well-being, and they did it, and they were safe. Only the Christians. So, there are physical calamities that can happen, and that probably will happen to us. So it's good to be prepared, be ready for it, especially in our faith. Again, be prepared by, structuring our life before it happens, structuring our life, our prayer life, our relationship with God, our practice of our faith. Remember, Jesus said, if you put into practice what I am telling you, you will be like a house built on rock, not on sand, on rock. If we put into practice what Jesus has told us, what the Catholic faith hands out to us. We should do that before it happens. We should do that even if it doesn't happen. Abortion and all the abominations that are happening, there's going to be an effect in our lifetime. So however it happens, financially or through nuclear war or hacking of all kinds of things that take down the power, and we have to kind of find the water sources and food sources. These things are very. We don't need a private revelation to tell us that. We can see how that could happen in our day. So let us be prepared with Jesus. Let us be prepared with him. He will sustain us. God is in control of everything. God is in control of finances, financial state of our economy, of our government, of the world. Jesus is totally in control of everything. We who have the mark of Jesus Christ on our forehead, not the mark of Satan, not the mark of living for the things of this world. We who have the mark of Jesus will be protected. We will be protected, but we do need to put into practice fully and totally all that Jesus has asked us to do in the Gospels. So we're reminded of that today in the Transfiguration. Jesus was preparing the apostles. We need to prepare, whether it happens next week or next year. We're always prepared, ready for the coming of Jesus.
Fructum ventris tui,